Yo, what's the deal, folks? It's your man Ease. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Um, Before we go any further, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I just want to share something with you, something that I viewed over the weekend. I had an opportunity to tune into Rory and Mal's podcast, formerly of the Joe Buttons podcast, and they had two legendary guests on there: Young Guru, Jay-Z's engineer, along with a host of others, and the legendary, iconic Rockefeller and Atlantic Records A&R hip hop. And they were talking about the blueprint and the creation, giving some backstories of the Black Album. And some things I walked away from was out some gems that jumped out to me were the importance, well, number one would be the importance of having a solid team. They would talk about how they would sit in the studio for like week blocks, right? They would have like a week block for each producer, like Pharrell or Just Blaze or DJ Quick, just to name a few. And Jay wouldn't always necessarily be present, but he believed or trusted the ears of his engineer and his A&R enough to know that they would get exactly what he needed to fit that particular album. Because more often than not, the albums had a theme, right? It's very rare that a Jay album will sound like a compilation album. For the most part, most of them do sound cohesive. And I thought it was interesting that he trusted Young Guru and hip hop that much, considering that his status, you know what I'm saying? Every single year, every year that he drops, he's competing against himself. So the fact that he built a strong enough team to be able to relieve him of that pressure was pretty dope. And he could have just focused on the music or writing or coming up with ideas once they determined or figured out the production that he would like the best. Also, that scene in Fade to Black, which is related to the Black album, when they're playing beats and he's trying to figure out or find dope beats and he stumbles upon What More Can I Say by the Buchanans. The music that's playing on the majority or the overdubs on top of the visuals, with the exception of that What More Can I Say beat, those aren't the original beats. Young Guru stated that they had to do that, or they decided to do it because if not, they would have spent roughly $200,000 on sample clearances for beats they never even selected. So what they did was, I don't know who exactly did it. I believe it was Mark Ronson, just played some beats on top of those visuals, and they put it out that way to save themselves $200,000. That's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money, man. So sometimes you got to cut corners, and some decisions, although we may not like them, are very necessary when handling business. Also, I did not know this. Maybe some of you knew this. The Blueprint, that album was beginning or started to be created towards the end of Beanie Siegel's album, The Reason, right? And they stated how a lot of those beats that Kanye brought to the picture were originally for Beanie, but they got a lot of them so late into the process, it was time to put the album in for mastering, and the window was shut, so it was too tight to where they wouldn't be able to clear some of the samples. So hip hop ended up giving a lot of those beats that were for Beanie to Jay, which spawned the Blueprint. Because if you listen to The Reason, there's a lot of soul on there too, like Mama's Praying, and just listen to that album. There's quite a few soul samples on there from Kanye. And one would think, in hindsight, after hearing that information, that wow, that's crazy. How where you get the music, the placement is everything. Because although the beats were fire, and we love Beans, he's a top tier MC. But had he rhymed over those beats, would Kanye's discography or his star status have gone to the next level at that particular moment? It's as quick as it did, you know what I'm saying? It may have taken another 3 or 4 years, but him getting those beats to Jay, the universe, I guess, aligned, and it went exactly where it was supposed to go. And they got a classic out of it. So shout out to Rockefeller with that, man. Also, they spoke on Just Blaze and this whole Drink Champ situation with Kanye calling him a biter. And I thought it was interesting how hip hop and Young Guru both stated that he's not a biter. He's just versatile. And as Jay stated, he was just completing the assignment. That's fire, man. Like I had a video, or I have a video up speaking about that, how Just Blaze was just doing his job, and it was interesting just to hear the guys who were behind the scenes kind of like not agree with me, but share the same sentiments. Like if you're a producer and you have a goal in mind, you have a goal in mind. If you want to make that project, if that artist has a goal that they're trying to obtain, and if Soul Samples is the lane and you come with keyboard beats, you're not gonna make it. And besides, RZA was probably one of the first producers sampling so heavily in that capacity, right? So is everyone else a biter because he did it first? So many things you can think about and sway the argument many different ways. But I thought it was interesting that they spoke up for their brother. And they also defended Kanye in the sense of saying that they don't think he sat back and couldn't wait to answer that. No one has ever asked him that. And I guess everyone is competitive in their own way. And they've been dealing with that for quite some time because Bink called Just Blaze a biter. But Hip Hop and Young Google stated that with regards to the blueprint, that Song Cry and You Don't Know were created before Bink submitted the rulers back. So I thought that was interesting as well, man. Like just to hear the legends and those who were actually there speak about the process as a fan can ask for much more. They're very knowledgeable and honest. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing that I take away from that, Rory said a dope quote, and he said, not only did y'all make history, but you don't live in it. You made history, but you don't live in it, meaning that you're legendary figures, but you also spit game and share knowledge with the young cats coming into the game. And that's all you can ask for, ask of the older or elder statesmen in any genre or any profession. Doesn't matter what you are. If the OGs are sharing knowledge to those coming behind them, great knowledge, things that are beneficial, it's a trickle-down effect, right? Each one teach one. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought that was pretty dope, and it was a life lesson. So hope you all enjoyed this, man. I got a lot out of that interview, and shout out to Rory and Mal. It's the first time I watched their podcast since they went on their own without Joe Button. So I think we all should go out there and check it out, man. They spoke on some very interesting things. And if you're a fan of the Rockefeller era, or if not, I just think that is it's something that you should tune into because certain conversations can be applied to many different aspects in life, not just music, right? So I hope you all out there doing well, man. Finish this week strong. Do your thing. Go get yours. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's your man, Ease. Love y'all. Go get yours.